Have you ever heard of a happy accident? One of those moments where a mistake turns into a world-changing miracle? Well, today we're diving into one of the greatest medical blunders of all time. A story about a simple resistor, a leaky barn, and an invention that has saved millions of lives. The implantable pacemaker. Our story begins not in a sterile, high-tech lab, but in a humble barn in Clarence, New York, during the 1950s. This was the makeshift workshop of a man named Wilson Greatbatch. By day, he was an assistant professor of electrical engineering at the University of Buffalo. By night, and on weekends, he was a relentless inventor, driven by a deep curiosity to solve problems. Greatbatch was working on a project for the Cornell Aeronautical Laboratory. The goal was to build a device that could record fast-fluctuating heart sounds. He was tinkering with an oscillator circuit, a piece of electronics designed to create a rhythmic pulse. The year was 1956 and he needed a specific component for his circuit, a 10,000-ohm resistor. He reached into his box of parts, pulled out what he thought was the right one, and soldered it into place. He flipped the switch, but something was wrong. Instead of the steady tone he expected, the device started to pulse. It went tick-tock, tick-tock with a rhythm that was eerily familiar. It was a 1.8 millisecond pulse, followed by a 1-second pause over and over again. Greatbatch stared at the device, puzzled. This wasn't what he was trying to build at all. He checked the resistor he had just installed, and then he saw it. He hadn't grabbed a 10,000-ohm resistor. By mistake, he had picked up a 1 mega-ohm resistor, 100 times more powerful than what the circuit called for. This tiny, accidental swap had completely changed the behavior of his device. Instead of recording a heartbeat, his invention was now generating one. The pulse it was creating was an almost perfect electrical replica of a human heartbeat. For most people, this would have been a frustrating mistake. You'd sigh, desolder the wrong part, and start over. But not Wilson Greatbatch. In that moment of failure, he saw an incredible opportunity. He later said, "The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I said, my God, this is an implantable pacemaker." You see, the idea of a pacemaker wasn't entirely new. Doctors had been using external machines since the 1930s to regulate a patient's heartbeat. But these devices were massive, refrigerator-sized contraptions. Patients had to be plugged into a wall socket, tethered to the machine, which severely limited their quality of life. They were a temporary solution at best, and certainly not something you could carry around. The dream was to create a small, self-contained device that could be implanted directly into the body, but no one had figured out how. The challenges were immense. First, you needed a power source. How do you power a device inside a human body for years without needing to constantly replace batteries? Second, the device had to be completely sealed off from the body's corrosive fluids. Any leakage could be fatal. And third, it had to be small enough to fit inside a person's chest. Greatbatch's accidental invention was the spark. It was small, it was simple, and it produced the right kind of pulse. He knew he was onto something huge. He quit his stable teaching job, cashed in his life savings, and dedicated the next 2 years of his life to turning this happy accident into a life-saving reality. He moved his work from the university lab into that 2-story barn behind his house. The barn wasn't exactly an ideal laboratory. It was drafty, unheated, and he often shared his workspace with the local wildlife. But it was his, and he poured everything he had into the project. He spent countless hours refining the circuit, making it smaller, more efficient, and more reliable. One of the biggest hurdles was the battery. He experimented with different power sources, and eventually, he partnered with the Mallory Battery Company, which was developing a new mercury-zinc battery. This battery was not only small, but also incredibly reliable and long-lasting, perfect for an implantable device. Next came the problem of encapsulation. How do you protect the delicate electronics from the harsh, salty environment of the human body? Greatbatch tried dozens of materials. He finally settled on epoxy resin, a type of plastic that, when cured, formed a perfect impenetrable seal. He meticulously hand-dipped each circuit in the epoxy, building up layer after layer to ensure it was completely waterproof. After 2 years of relentless work in 1958, he had a prototype. It was about the size of a hockey puck, a small block of clear epoxy with the electronic components suspended inside. It was ready for its first test. Great Batch approached Dr. William Chardak, a renowned surgeon at the Buffalo Veterans Administration Hospital. Dr. Chardak was initially skeptical. Many had tried and failed to create an implantable pacemaker. But when Great Batch demonstrated his device, Chardak was convinced. They first tested the pacemaker in a dog. They surgically induced a condition called heart block in the animal, which disrupts the heart's natural rhythm. Then they connected Great Batch's device to the dog's heart. It worked. The tiny device took over, sending steady electrical pulses that kept the dog's heart beating perfectly. The test was a resounding success. The pacemaker kept the dog's heart beating for hours. The team knew they were ready for the next step, a human patient. In 1960, a 77-year-old man suffering from complete heart block was chosen for the first human implant. The man's heart was failing, and without intervention, he had only weeks to live. Dr. Chardak performed the surgery, implanting the small device into the man's abdominal wall and connecting the electrodes to the outer surface of his heart. The moment the pacemaker was switched on, the man's heart began to beat with a strong, steady rhythm. The change was immediate and dramatic. The man went on to live for another 18 months, his life extended by this incredible piece of technology born in a barn. The success of that first surgery was a medical breakthrough. The Chardak Great Batch pacemaker, as it came to be known, went into commercial production. The device was licensed to Medtronic, a small medical equipment company at the time. This partnership would eventually transform Medtronic into the global leader in medical technology it is today. Wilson Great Batch's invention revolutionized cardiology. It gave freedom and a new lease on life to millions of people with heart rhythm disorders. Patients were no longer tied to bulky, external machines. They could live active, normal lives. Great Batch himself never stopped inventing. He went on to hold more than 325 patents in his lifetime, including a long-life lithium battery that became the new standard for pacemakers, extending their lifespan from a couple of years to over a decade. He was a true visionary, a man who saw potential where others saw a mistake. His story is a powerful reminder that some of the greatest discoveries do come from following a perfect plan. They come from curiosity, from perseverance, and from being open to the unexpected. The next time you make a mistake, remember Wilson Great Batch in his barn. You never know, your oops moment might just be the start of something amazing. It all started with picking up the wrong resistor, a tiny error that led to one of the most significant medical inventions of the 20th century. A device that continues to beat in the chests of millions of people around the world, giving them the priceless gift of time. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of incredible inventions and the people behind them. See you in the next video.